It all started with a piece of land most people ignored. 60 acres of open space, quiet and untouched. To me it wasn't just land, it was freedom, and I had no idea it was about to start a war. The first day I walked the property, everything felt perfect. Fresh air, wide skies, no noise from the city. It was exactly what I had been looking for, a place where no one could tell me what to do. But then I noticed something strange. A dirt path, cutting right through the middle of my land. Tire tracks, footprints, signs of constant use. Like people had been using it for years. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe it was an old road from before I bought the place. But as the day went on, more cars showed up, driving straight across my property like it was public. That's when I realized something wasn't right. This wasn't random. People were using my land as a shortcut, and they weren't even trying to hide it. The next morning, I decided to wait and watch. Sure enough, cars started rolling through again, one after another, like it was a normal road. That's when I stepped in. I waved down one of the drivers. He rolled down his window. Looking confused, I told him this was private property. He just laughed and said, "We've always used this road." That answer didn't sit right with me. Just because you've always done something doesn't make it right. I told him things were about to change. He didn't take me seriously. By afternoon, word had spread. People weren't just driving through anymore. They were staring, like I was the problem, like I had taken something from them. And then she showed up, the HOA president. You could tell immediately. She was used to being in control and she didn't like what she was seeing. She walked straight up to me without hesitation, no greeting, no introduction. Just attitude. "Why are you blocking our road?" I told her calmly. "This isn't your road, it's my land." She didn't like that answer, not one bit. Her expression changed instantly. She pointed at the dirt path like she owned it. "This is a community shortcut," she said. "We've been using it for years." Like that gave her authority. I shook my head. "Not anymore," I told her. Her face tightened. That's when I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Over the next few days, things escalated fast. People kept using the shortcut anyway, ignoring my warnings completely, like I didn't exist. So I put up a sign. Private property, no trespassing, clear, simple, legal. Or at least I thought it was enough. The next morning, the sign was gone, just ripped out like it meant nothing. That's when frustration turned into action. This wasn't going to stop on its own. I knew I had to do something bigger. Something they couldn't ignore, because clearly, signs weren't enough. They needed a real boundary, so I made a call. And the next day, workers showed up. Heavy equipment, tools, materials. Now, people started paying attention. They watched as the fence line went up. Post by post, stretching across the land, cutting off the shortcut completely. And that's when the real chaos started. Guards began stopping in confusion. Drivers getting out, looking frustrated. The road they depended on was disappearing, and they weren't happy about it. Then came the gate. Big, solid, impossible to ignore, right in the middle of that dirt path. Locked tight, no way through. And right on it, a sign, private property, no trespassing. This time it wasn't going anywhere, and everyone knew it. That's when she came back. But this time, she wasn't calm. She was furious, and louder than ever. She pointed at the gate, yelling, "You can't do this." Like she still had control, like I needed her permission. I stood there calm. Actually, I can set that only made her angrier, because she knew I was right. A crowd started forming behind her. Neighbors, drivers, curious onlookers. All staring at the gate, all blaming me. She tried to argue louder, tried to pressure me in front of everyone. But I wasn't backing down. Not this time. So she made a move. Pulled out her phone and called the police like that would fix things. A few minutes later, sirens. Police cars pulling up to the scene. Now, everyone was watching closely, waiting to see what would happen. She rushed over to them immediately, talking fast, pointing at me and the gate, trying to control the story, but facts don't change. When they came to me, I stayed calm. No yelling, no arguing. Just facts. And paperwork. I handed them the documents, property lines, ownership proof, everything clear and legal. There was no question about it. They looked it over carefully. One officer nodded slowly. The other looked at the gate, then back at me. And that's when everything shifted. They walked back to her and you could see it on her face. The confidence was gone, replaced with worry. She tried to argue again, but it didn't work this time because she didn't have proof, only assumptions. The officers made it clear this was private property and I had every right to block it. That was the end of it. The crowd started to quiet down, people looking at each other, unsure. The shortcut they relied on was officially gone. She stood there, speechless, for the first time since this started. No yelling, no pointing. Just silence. And honestly, that said everything, because deep down, she knew this wasn't her decision anymore. It never was. One by one, people started leaving. No more arguments, no more noise, just disappointment and acceptance. She turned and walked away too, still angry, but defeated. The control she thought she had was gone. The road stayed empty after that. No more cars, no more shortcuts. Just peace. Exactly how it should have been. I stood there, looking at the gate, locked, solid, final, a simple solution to a problem that shouldn't have existed. And for the first time since buying the land, everything felt right again. No interruptions, no noise, just silence in space. I walked across the property slowly, taking it all in. This was mine. And now, everyone knew it. The sunset that evening felt different, warmer, calmer, like everything had finally settled the way it was supposed to. Sometimes, people forget boundaries. They take what's not theirs, until someone stands up and reminds them. This wasn't just about a shortcut, it was about respect and knowing your rights, no matter who's against you in the end. The gate stayed locked, the shortcut was gone for good, and peace returned to my land. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe, and tell me, where are you watching from?